I always knew I wanted to be involved with helping people, and Milliken just seemed like a nice place to do it. People should definitely be aware of how many smoke detectors they have in their house. That's always an important thing. You always want to have smoke detectors on all floors of the house and every room if possible, especially the bedrooms that you live in. I mean, if there is a fire in your house, you always want to have a plan on how to get out of the house if anything ever does go wrong. Closing doors behind you always helps the fire from spreading as quickly.
Also, just simple house cleaning, as we call it. Make sure your electrical outlets aren't overloaded. Make sure there's not electrical cords, draped over your sinks, or rags by your stoves or water heaters. Just making sure that all those areas are cleaned up can make a big difference.
During fires, I think people just need to understand that, if their house is on fire, that they really need to just get out. Don't worry about personal belongings, pets, things like that. They just need to get out of their house. We'll preach in Fire Prevention Week about meeting points, that every family should have a place that they meet once they're out. It really is important just so that when we arrive, if you can tell us that everyone's out, we're not going to risk our lives as much as we would if we're not sure if everyone's out of their homes.
Training is never-ending. There's always new theories and methods on how to fight fires. There's always a never-ending change of technology that's coming out. So we always have to be aware of the new technologies, so it's never-ending.
Training for my position, probably a lot more difficult than training for any desk job or anything like that, because it does include some physical demand and a lot more risk to it than a lot of other jobs.
Out of the approximately 500 calls we run every year, we have between 5 and 10 actual working fires.
The majority of our calls are medical calls. I'd say 60 to 70% of our calls are all medical responses. Our call volume does differ a little bit depending on the time of the year. Spring and fall, we have more ground cover fires because the vegetation is dry. Winter, we'll pick up a few more car accidents than normal, or possibly down power lines, but the majority of our calls are medical.
I like having a job that when I go to work, I know that I'm making a difference in my community. A lot of people who work in offices, they go to work, they do their jobs, and they go home. When I go to work, I have a good potential of saving a life, and I like to leave the world better than I found it.
Well, I like that I can help people that feel helpless, and that I can come into a situation being calm and relaxed, knowing that me being there will help people get through some of their hardest times. I mean, in this job, when you face certain situations, you got to realize that people are probably at one of their worst times in their life.
I think just when you're driving down the road and there's little kids on the sidewalk and they get super excited to see you coming and wave, and just kind of that feeling that, people look up to you, I think is one of the best parts of our job. Knowing that we're there to help people, being actively involved in the community, it's all stuff that makes you feel kind of good.
Oh, we had a woman who decided to give birth at home, and there was complications with this birth, and they waited 20 minutes before calling 911, and consequently the baby didn't make it, and the mother was in critical condition.